The biggest cause of the military's decline is, drum roll, veterans. That's right. Veterans who get treated like shit while they're in the military, and then they warn other people, hey, I got treated like shit, man. Don't make the same mistake I did. It's now their fault that military recruitment is in the shitter. It's not that the military is treating them like shit. It's that they're telling people the military is treating them like shit. No, the problem isn't that we're doing something bad, guys. The problem is that the people we're doing bad things to are telling others that we're doing bad things to them. If only you just stopped talking about all the bad things we do, this wouldn't be a problem. Simple, right? The Wall Street Journal blames abysmal recruitment numbers on military veterans. So the Wall Street Journal published a piece heaping the blame for the military recruitment crisis on those who have served. Yes, you read that right. Military veterans are the problem. It's not how we treat the veterans. It's that they've finally had enough of our mistreatment. So not the drag queens, not the anti-white rhetoric and policies of Lloyd Austin, not the coerced participation in experimental drug trials, but those who enlisted and served. Yup, it's all their fault. Maybe to punish them, they're going to use the VA to withhold vital services from them. Oh, wait, that'll be no different than now. Back to the drawing board. It's appalling that our media blames low recruitment numbers on the people who sacrifice and risk their lives for their country. The headline and teaser read as follows. Military recruiting crisis. Even veterans don't want their families to join. Pentagon scrambles to retain the main pipeline for new service members as disillusioned families steer young people away. Once again, they got mistreated. They're just warning their friends and family not to make the same mistake they did. So clearly the problem isn't that they got mistreated. It's that they're telling people. You're supposed to keep it a secret, you know. Where's your sense of duty? So maybe reporter Ben Kessling should have questioned whether current government policies might be causing the problem instead of just repeating government talking points. No, this is common for the Western media in general. They always blame the symptom, not the problem. So maybe veterans look at the disaster at the Kabul airport in August of current year -2, and they don't want their children to report to so many incompetents. Maybe they're disillusioned because they gave limbs or lost friends in the deserts and mountains of Afghanistan only to watch Brandon leave people and equipment behind for the benefit of the very forces which Americans fought. Maybe they find a commander-in-chief who fails to accept responsibility and acknowledge he is to blame for leaving so many behind unworthy of serving. Maybe they just don't trust a leader who pretends to care about Americans who died, but can't help from checking the time as their remains are brought home and bragging about how successful the exit was. That's someone you want to lay down your life for. Maybe the veterans don't want their children to sacrifice for a regime that seems to work so hard to appease and enrich Iran as the nation still pledges death to America and her people. I think they're trying to bribe Iran to not be as friendly with China anymore. Like, I legitimately believe that's their plan because Iran and China have a pretty strong relation. Oh, not China, Russia have a very strong relationship. And I think the U.S. believes if they just bribe them enough, they'll leave Russia and come to them. Maybe the veterans would like the military to focus on defending the country instead of focusing time on and effort on die pronouns and pride. Maybe. Like, what gave it away? It's a strong possibility, yes. And maybe the veterans are unhappy the government was using taxpayer money for drag shows and only stopped when Republicans raised a stink. No, they didn't stop. I think they're just trying to hide it better. They're not talking about it as much. But they sure as hell didn't stop. Why have news reports on current condition in Afghanistan essentially stopped? Could be the media doesn't want to remind voters how bad it is. Well, what's there to report on? The Taliban controls everything. It's back to how it was like 20 years ago. So there was no point in sending our people there to die anymore because leadership just fucked it all up. That's basically what it is. You know, why isn't the military able to fill the gap in recruitment with young cross-dressing wokesters since those are the people whom it is catering instead of blaming veterans? Yeah, where's the wider audience? Maybe the veterans are angry that so many healthy young people were betrayed and expelled from the military for exercising their free will and inalienable rights to abstain from being a lab rat. Maybe some veterans are angry the military is violating federal law by using taxpayer money to pay for abortions. Maybe the veterans are aggravated that the military, along with the entire government, is more focused on pretending they control the climate than in defending ourselves from real world foes. Good point. My guess is that veterans, many of whom have seen combat, are more worried about unchecked evil than fabricated doomsday predictions. Maybe they also noticed that this unchecked evil is primarily within the U.S. government now, too. Now, do you see Lockheed Martin's Pride Parade banner? What else can one infer except a concerted agenda for the powers that be to promote war as fun, silly, and colorful? Maybe that's their game now. Trick young people into believing that that's exactly what it is. Yeah, join the army, see the world, meet new people, and then shoot them in the face. Now, how eco-friendly, sustainable would it be if you had to use battery-operated ships, planes, and tanks? Can we call a truce every time we have to recharge the batteries? After all, our enemies are sticking with gas-powered transportation. It would be like America is taking a pea shooter to a machine gun fight. What could go wrong? I guess if your aim and your speed is good enough, you might be able to pull off a victory, but probably not. Maybe the veterans want a commander-in-chief who doesn't appoint so many people who can't tell the difference between men and women. If you can't tell the difference, maybe you should go to an optometrist and get yourself checked out. Yeah, think of all the money we could save if we just housed everyone together and labeled all facilities for they, them, since they can't tell the difference. What could go wrong? That is actually a good point. This could be a cost-saving thing. Okay. Now, we should also get rid of all academic and physical standards because they clearly discriminate. Our fighting force would be so much better if we didn't have standards. Yeah, that's how you get diversity. You drop standards. Wouldn't it? Our adversaries will destroy and subjugate us, but at least we will have much higher DI and ESG scores. Now, that is one big, incredibly diverse pile of shit. I bet China, Iran, Russia, and North Korea leaders are can tell the difference between men and women and don't worry about misgendering. You think? Maybe it worries veterans that the military leader only acknowledges 6 of his 7 grandchildren. If he doesn't care for the littlest members of his own family, how much less those in whom he has no familial bond? Brandon and the entire left love to blame others for their failures. Yeah, Brandon and Heels Up Harris blame massive influx of illegals on Orange Man instead of the fact that they refuse to enforce immigration laws and secure the border. Yeah, they didn't want to come here when Orange Man was president for some reason. So Brandon and his cabinet of party economists, in quotes, of course, blame the massive inflation increase on Corona-chan in Russia instead of Democrat policies like the destruction of reasonably priced energy and mass spending programs. Brandon blamed the smackdown of his illegal attempts to buy votes with student loan giveaway on MAGA Republicans and a rogue Supreme Court instead of that pesky Constitution and its stupid separation of powers. Those darn founding fathers. It's almost as if they predicted this would happen. And now media, allies like Kessling, blame the great shortfall of military recruitment on those who gave great sacrifice to our country. That is that is the thanks they get from the leftists. So, and that's why they're telling their family don't join the military, because that's the thanks they're getting. Here's a novel concept for the media: report the news and facts instead of regurgitating talking points. Maybe your poll numbers will go up. I don't think so. CNN tried, but like I've been saying for ages, once they drove away the right wing and centrist audiences, they were never going to get them back. So if you try to go back to center after that, you're just going to lose your last remaining audience, the far left, which is exactly what happened. Who could have predicted this?